Hello students, welcome to fourth session of royalty accounts. Here we are going to study with the second problem of royalty accounts. From the following information, prepare minimum rent account and short workings account. Here we need to prepare two ledger accounts, minimum rent account as well as short workings account. Minimum rent is rupees 1 lakh fixed amount. Short working is recoverable in the subsequent year following the short working. So this is a major adjustment. ಯಾವ ವರ್ಷ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ತದೋ ಅದರ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರಿಕವರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ದಟ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಇಯರ್ಸ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಇಯರ್ಸ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ 4 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ವರ್ಷ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅದರ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಕವರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So these kind of adjustment called as floating short working recoupment. There are two categories, fixed and floating. So if it is fixed, like first 2 years, first 3 years, it's called as fixed recoupment. But floating recoupment here. So calculation of actual royalty paid. So consider this table. Year royalty, minimum rent, surplus, short working recoupment, carry forward and return off, and cash payment. So you can see in the previous table in the problem they have given year and royalty directly and not the output. They have given royalty directly, so there is no need to calculate royalty once again. They have given the information directly. So I'll copy these things. Year and royalty, 2018 to 2021, and the royalty directly they have given I have considered. Here I have skipped the column of output because there is no need to calculate royalty once again. They are given directly, they are not given output. And then I need to record the minimum rent. They have given minimum rent of rupees 1 lakh. So I'll just copy the 1 lakh rupees in all the years. It's 1 lakh fixed amount for all the given years. There is no change. And surplus, that is rent royalty minus minimum rent. So if royalty exceeds minimum rent, and short working if minimum rent exceeds royalty. So surplus, so here royalty is lesser than the minimum rent, so surplus is nil, but short working is 20,000. And in the second year, royalty minus minimum rent, again royalty is minimum 95,000, so surplus is nil, but short working 5,000. Then in the year 2020, both royalty and minimum rent are same, so there is neither surplus nor short working. In the year 2021, royalty is 1,10,000 and minimum rent 1 lakh. So here we have a surplus. Royalty exceeds minimum rent, so excess of 10,000 is considered as surplus. After that, we need to consider the rest of the four columns at a time. So short working recoupment. So we have a short working of 20,000, but there is no surplus. As there is no surplus, we cannot adjust this short working. So this short working cannot be recouped in 2018. So we have a condition that so subsequent year short working can be recouped subsequent year following the short working. So that indicates 2018's short working can be recovered only in 2019. Subsequent, that means next, immediately next year. So after 2018 we cannot carry forward. 2018 short working can be recovered only in the year 2019 and we cannot carry forward to 2020. So this 20,000 rupees short working cannot be recouped is carried forward to 2019. The entire amount carried forward to next year, so return off is nil. So consider the cash payment or actual royalty payment. minimum rent or surplus, whichever is minimum rent or royalty, whichever is higher. So here higher amount is minimum rent 1 lakh minus recoupment 0. So here the royalty payable is 1 lakh. And the next year 2019, previous year short working 20,000, current year short working 5,000, but there is no surplus. So as there is no surplus, so we cannot recoup any balance. But consider here, short working can be recouped only immediately in the next year. Immediate next year ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ರಿಕವರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 2018 ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ 2019 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ಈ 20,000 ರುಪೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ದ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಟು 2020. ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ 20ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. 2018 ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು 2020ಗೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. 2018 ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ 2019 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ 20,000 ವರ್ತ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಏನಿದೆ that will be considered as written off. And remaining 5,000, so this is with respect to 2019. 2019 5,000 ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ಇದರ ರಿಕವರಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವು 2020 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ 5,000 ರುಪೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್. So 20,000 of previous year considered as written off and 5,000 current years carried down to next year. So consider the actual payment. Royalty or minimum rent, whichever is higher. So higher amount is 1 lakh minus recoupment if any. So recoupment amount is 0. 1 lakh minus 0. So it is 1 lakh again. Consider the third year. There is neither surplus nor short working. Both the royalty and minimum rent are same. But we have short working of 5,000 with respect to 2009. So, as there is no surplus, we cannot recoup any balance. And this 5,000 belongs to 2009 can be recovered only in the year 2020. And after this year, we cannot carry forward. So, for that reason, so we cannot carry forward the balance of 5,000 and we have to write off this balance. So, consider the last column. Royalty or minimum rent, whichever is higher. So, it is 1 lakh minus recoupment if any. So recoupment is 0. 1 lakh minus 0, it's 1 lakh. And the last year. So here there is no short working of current year and short working carried forward from the previous year. So there is no short working for the year 2021. So for that reason, so there is no matter of recoupment. So if there is no recoupment and again there is no carry forward. There is no short working to carry forward it to next year. And written off is also 0 because there is no short working. So consider the final balance of payment. Royalty or minimum rent, whichever is higher. So higher amount is 1,10,000 minus recoupment. Here minus recoupment is 0. 1,10,000 minus 0 is 1,10,000. So this is how we have to prepare royalty table. So after this, we need to prepare minimum rent account. As far as the minimum rent account, we know that the journal entries. Minimum rent due, minimum rent account debits to lessors account, and for transfer of minimum rent, royalty account debit, short workings account debit to minimum rent account. So I'll record the first one. So in the first year, 2018, the first one, minimum rent account debits to lessors account. So minimum rent account debit side to lessors account. So here I need to write the amount. So minimum rent account debits to lessors account. Minimum rent is 1 lakh. So I'll write 1 lakh. And the same year, 2018, we have one more entry to minimum rent account, transfer of minimum rent. For transfer of minimum rent, so we have the entry royalty account debit, short workings account debit to minimum rent account. So we have to credit minimum rent account. So minimum rent account credit side by royalty account and by short working account. So here I need to record royalty and short working. For the first year, royalty is 80,000 and short working is 20,000. So royalty is 80,000 and short working 20,000. So only two transactions will appear in the minimum rent account. So we have passed both of them. So I'll close the books for the year 2018. It's 1 lakh debit side and here again 1 lakh on the credit side. So I'll continue the same thing for the year 2019. So for the 2019, again we have short working of 5,000. The same transactions will repeat. So minimum rent account debit to lessers account. So I'll check the balance amount. 2019 minimum rent again 1 lakh. So it is 1 lakh and the entries by royalty account and by short workings account in the year 2019 for transfer of minimum rent. So in this year minimum rent is 95,000 and short working is 5,000. So only two transactions in a minimum rent account. So I'll close the minimum rent account that is 1 lakh rupees. So again in the year 2020 we need to check. So here if there is a minimum rent account is higher than the royalty, that means if there is a short working then only we have to prepare minimum rent account. So here you can find out for the first 2 years, so there is short working, for that reason we have prepared minimum rent account for 18 and 19, but for the last 2 years so there is no short working, so for that reason no need to prepare minimum rent account for 2020 and 21. So this is all about the minimum rent account. And the next one, we need to prepare short workings account. So for the preparation of short workings account, so we should check the transactions. As far as short working, so we have three transactions here. The first one, transfer of minimum rent. So in this case, we have short working entry. Short workings account debits to minimum rent account. And here, short working recoupment, lessers account debits to short workings account. And for short working return of profit and loss account debits to short workings account. So let us start with the first year, 2018. So as far as 2018, so the first entry is royalty account debit, short workings account debits to minimum rent account. But in the ledger of short working account, we are going to record only one entry. So short workings account debit to minimum rent account. So here I need to check the balance. So check the table and check the short working. So here we have a short working of 20,000. So for the year 2018, we have a short working of 20,000 rupees. And again check. So the second transaction is for recoupment and the third was written off. So check the table. Is there any amount for recoupment? So 2018 there is no amount for recoupment and written off of course, so there is no amount. So second and third entry will not appear for the first year. So there is neither recoupment nor written off. So I'll carry down the balance for the year 2018 by balance carried forward. So on the debit side, the total is 20,000. So for that reason, the difference amount carried down 20,000 rupees. And in the year 2019, I'll record the opening balance to balance brought forward. So brought forward balance of short working 10,000. And again, I should check the same three transactions. So transfer of minimum rent, recoupment, and return off. So for transfer of short working, so I should check the short working in the year 2019. 2019, the fresh short working of 5,000. I should record this one. So for this entry is short workings account debit to minimum rent account. Minimum rent account. So here fresh short working is 5,000. And again I should check for recoupment or return off. So there is no recoupment for this year, and return off we have an entry. So we have return off 20,000. So for return off, journal entry is profit and loss account debits to short workings account. So profit and loss account debit to short workings account. So short working account is credited. So I'll write in the credit side of short workings account by profit and loss account. So here we are going to transfer this 20,000 rupees to profit and loss account, considering it as dead loss or as written off. So I'll close the books of accounts. So here debit side total 25,000 and credit side I'll record 25,000. And the difference amount 25,000 minus 20,000, difference amount 5,000. So this 5,000 represents the balance carried to next year. So balance brought forward. And in the year 2020, I'll record the opening balance. To balance brought forward. So opening balance 5,000. And then check, is there any entry for fresh short working? So there is nothing fresh short working. So our first transactions will not appear. So this one will not appear. And check for recoupment if any. So there is no recoupment of short working. And check, is there any amount written off? Of course, we have written off the balance. So for written off, so the journal entry is profit and loss account to debit to short workings account. So I'll record again 2020 by profit and loss account. By profit and loss account. So we are going to write off entire 5,000. So I'll close the books in the year 2020. So debit side total 20,000 and credit side total 20,000. And check, is there any entry for the year 2021? So as far as 2021, there is no fresh short working and there is no short working recoupment, there is no short working return off. So only for these three entries we have to pass journal entries in the books of short working, as there is no amount for short working recoupment or short working return off. So no need to pass an entry in the books of lessee for short workings account. So as there is no entry for this short working return off or short working recoupment, no need to pass the entry in the books of lessee for the year 2021. So short workings account will close in 2020. So this is how we need to prepare minimum rent account and short workings account in the books of lessee. So I hope you understood the preparation of minimum rent account and short workings account. Thank you for watching. Take care and happy learning.